Well, I won the fight, I showed the proof, laid out the facts, spoke the truth. But when the dust began to clear, they changed the rules to keep their fear. Said Jason bought a share, that's why. But Jason said, you're telling lies. Now they're spinning tales again, moving the post just to pretend. They're moving the goalposts back and forth, north to south and south to north. Every time they're proven wrong, they change the tune and sing a new song. They'll twist the truth till the light goes dim, anything to make themselves look right again. Yeah, they're moving the goalpost, and it's wearing thin. Now Danny Jones steps up to play, says he bought a share one day, but funny thing, he blocked the man who came to launch the very plan. He called his mate at Heathrow Gate, said, stop that, Wanoa, don't let him stay. Then turned around and called it fraud. You can't make this up, oh good Lord. They're moving the goalposts side to side, can't face the truth, so they run and hide. Each lie they tell is a worn out spin. It's like chasing tails, they'll never win. They'll rewrite history just for show, but anyone watching can see they don't know. Yeah, they're moving the goalposts wherever the wind might blow. And Angela Power, Disney's name's been tossed into the circus, confused and lost. They claim she bought a share as well, though none were sold before it fell. It's lunacy, hypocrisy, idiots pretending they've got a degree. If logic were gold, they'd still be broke. These fools can't see through their own smoke. Moving the goalposts up and down, shifting the truth all over town. They call it justice, but it's just a sham. A house of cards, a traffic jam. But truth don't move, it stands its ground, and one day soon it'll all come round. Yeah, keep moving those goalposts, 'cause the truth's still found. You can move the posts all you like, lads, but you still can't score without the ball.
Bonjour, ça va, and auf Wiedersehen. How the devil are you? It's approximately 4 minutes past 8 o'clock on the 12th of November, 2025, or whenever 2025 is. No one knows, it's just the number. Hope everyone's well. Hope everyone is dandy. And I hope everyone has had their piece of candy. Because, of course, what we need most in the diabolical world we live in today is candy. Without the candy, how can we get dandy? Now, listen, I've got some really dark stuff to talk about tonight. And it's just like, it ain't funny. But it goes on in the world around us. I mean, I want to touch upon this absolutely horrific horror story of the babies kept at a funeral director's front room. Literally dead baby bodies kept in this funeral director's front room. I mean, you couldn't make this up. I don't think you could even make a horror movie up so horrific than the news we hear today. And then, of course, there's this detention center guard who's been touted as the most prolific sex offender ever. And he's a detention center guard for young offenders, quoted as being possibly the most prolific sex offender in British history. Neville Husband was jailed in 2003 for abusing 5 teenagers at their Medomsley County Institute. You know, I don't know what it is, somewhere at the Medomsley in County Durham. And I actually flicked through my Facebook page about half an hour ago, and apparently Bill Maloney was bringing this up from testimony of the individuals who had been abused there. But yeah, so you know, the point I want to make is we live in a dark world, and these stories of this funeral director keeping dead baby's body in her front room sitting on the couch, and what is most probably the most prolific sex offender in British history working as a guard for a young person's detention centre is but only the tip of the iceberg of what goes on in this deranged planet we call Earth. And I just really pray that the status quo is smashed into tiny minuscule pieces. And you know, we hear simpletons out there talking about plans to smash the status quo as treasonous, and it just makes you wonder, damn right we need to be treasonous in this day and age, because as we all have come to realize, the most prolific crimes and the most despicable crimes are being committed upon the masses by the great and good that we often call royalty. And so damn right we need to be treasonous in this day and age. And if there's anyone out there berating you or calling you out to be treasonous, they are the traitors. Because we have to be treasonous to change the status quo. We have to be traitors to a corrupt system. And fuck anyone out there who gives you a rough time for being a traitor in this day and age. Horrific. This mum and dad have been up to Westminster to meet ministers after this funeral director horror. Families whose baby bodies were kept at a funeral director's home call for tighter regulation of the funeral industry. So basically we had this funeral director, this woman, keeping dead baby bodies in her front room, sat up on her sofa. I mean, fucking hell. What the fuck? I'm reading this here. Zoe Ward told a BBC investigation in August that she was left screaming after discovering her dead son had been put in a baby bouncer watching cartoons in the living room of Amy Upton, the founder of Flores Army, which is the funeral director. I mean, fucking hell. What? Yeah, there's a woman out there called Amy Upton who founded the Flores Army Funeral Directors, who had a dead baby in a baby bouncer watching cartoons in her living room. But most alarmingly of all, no laws were broken. Hi, Mandy. I'm sorry about the subject matter tonight. It's a pretty sick, you know, and we got all these truth warriors, you know, running around YouTube calling a man from New Zealand a scammer when we got this real life horror happening around us and they're just oblivious to it. What you on about? You want to know what I'm on about? I'll fucking show you what I'm on about. I heard it on the news today. And it is absolutely shocking. It's absolutely horrific. Here we go. It sounds more than grim. Families whose babies' bodies were kept at a funeral director's home will call for tighter regulation of the funeral industry when they meet government ministers later. Zoe Ward told a BBC investigation in August that she was left screaming after discovering her dead son had been put in a baby bouncer watching cartoons in the living room of Amy Upton, the founder of Flores Army. Miss Upton had previously told the BBC she had only ever received 2 complaints in her 8 years of running her baby loss support and funeral service in Leeds. Miss Ward will be meeting the victims minister, Alex Davis Jones, with another affected family, said she hoped their voices are heard. Miss Ward asked Flores Army to arrange the funeral for her baby, Blue, just shortly after he died of brain hemorrhage at 3 weeks old in 2001. She said she thought he would be in a professional setting, but was left terrified when she saw her son in Miss Upton's living room. I didn't want him in that house, Miss Ward said, adding the weird experience had left her angry and upset. I mean, I can't get over it. We had a funeral director who was bringing the dead bodies of babies back home and positioning them in her front room. Apparently, there are currently no legal requirements about how and where bodies should be stored, and no qualifications are needed to set up as a funeral director. And so, for this Miss Upton to bring the bodies of dead babies back to her front room and to put them in the baby rocker watching TV is not breaking any laws. Shocking. One of the mothers said it was just crazy. If I told someone of this story, they'd think it was a horror film. And then, of course, we got the next story. It is very shocking. Then we got the next story. I'll share it on the and the point I want to make is we've got so many warriors of social justice running around YouTube picking on the wrong people. You know, where's the outrage for this? They don't care. They just pick on the easy option. Here's another one. Another horrific story that apparently Bill Maloney was flagging up years ago. Detention centre guard, a prolific sex offender. An officer at a notorious detention centre for young offenders was possibly the most prolific sex offender in British history, an inquiry has concluded. Neville Husband was jailed in 2003 for abusing 5 teenagers at the Medomsley in County Durham, and a further 338 sexual offences attributed to him in the inquiry's report. Hundreds of young men were physically and sexually attacked by prison staff. Fucking hell, man, come on. And we got to have faith in the establishment. Hundreds of young men were physically and sexually attacked by prison staff from 1961 to 1987. A Prisons and Probation Ombudsman report lists a string of missed opportunities by the Home Office. You know, the Home Office are politicians, by the way, and police and prison managers to stop the abuse. And we're meant to trust the police. We're meant to trust our politicians. We're meant to trust the people who are tasked with keeping the prisoners safe. Durham Police has apologised to the victims. The Ministry of Justice also apologised on behalf of all governments, past and present. The report said inmates who had complained were not believed and were effectively left to report abuse to the people who had assaulted them. It warned what had happened was a cautionary tale, and the mistreatment of the vulnerable was still an issue throughout the youth custody estate. Medomsley housed young men aged 17 to 21 for periods of 3 or 6 months for often low-level offending. It was intended to give inmates a short, sharp shock, but the investigation found physical violence and summary punishments were endemic. Sexual assaults often centered on the institute's kitchens, where guard Husband is said to have raped young inmates. He was later convicted of sex offences and died in 2010. Chief Constable Rachel Bacon said the report made for extremely difficult reading and exposed shameful failings by police at that time. On behalf of Durham Constabulary, I wish to publicly offer my sincerest apologies to those victims and their families for those failures, she said. Thousands of young men were let down by the system and are continuing to live with the wounds left by that abuse. Those victims were and remain our primary concern. It's a shocker, and it's the world we live in. Well, he may change his story, but he was shining a light on this years ago, apparently. Look, ultimately, you can't trust anyone. You can't trust anyone except yourself. The only person's story you can believe and take for gospel is your own. And that's the big disappointment. in life. You can't really put your trust in anyone in this day and age. There's a lot of people out there who pretend to be the high and mighty, who say, no, you can trust me, follow me, I'll do you right. And and Dan Tarragon is one of them. But still, even today, he continues to call John Wanoa and the King's flag a scam, when there's absolutely no evidence of it being a scam. And he's using this to give him credibility. And it pulls my bloody blood, it does. Because we live in a capitalistic world in which it's not illegal to raise money through the selling of shares. We live in a capitalist world in which everyone has got the right to invest in a project if they so feel fit to do so. And then we got these people who are calling out other people for being treasonous, for wanting to change the system. And that's the system we live in. We live in a system in which anyone can set themselves up as a funeral director and bring back dead bodies and store them in their front room. We live in a system in which prison guards abuse young men who are tasked for them to be looked after. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It gets so much more dark. And we know this by the whistleblowers. And while Mandy may say she doesn't believe a word that comes out of Jeanette Archer's mouth, I still find it fascinating that Jeanette Archer is saying what she's saying. And we need to get to the bottom of it. We need to find out categorically as to whether Jeanette Archer is clinically insane and talking complete and utter tripe, or there's something in what she says. Because like I said, what we hear in the public domain is the very, very tip of a humongous iceberg. And of course, as we all know about icebergs, most of it is submerged out of sight. And so I say, damn right, we've got to be treasonous. We have to be the traitors to the system we currently live in. She's a total liar, says Mandy. Okay. I want that proved to my satisfaction. I want that proved to my satisfaction. Because I can't take your word for it. Just because you say she's a total liar, that doesn't mean it's true. We hear Dan Tarragon calling John Wanoa a scammer. That doesn't make it true. We need to find things out for ourselves. That's why I would love to talk to Jeanette Archer. I'd love to make her go over again what she witnessed. And yes, the very fact that she doesn't come on and willing to talk about it is suspect. Mandy says she changes her story all the time. There you go. Will we ever get to the truth of it all? Or will truth forever be evasive? Will truth forever be elusive? Is truth the utopia that we'll never achieve? Oh man, look. I don't particularly, about Jeanette Archer, she flogged me off, basically. But still, it doesn't change the fact that I'm fascinated by what she says about the reptilians. That rocks my boat, that does. That rocks my boat. And there's a part of me that I want to know. I want to know one way or the other, conclusively, to my satisfaction. Because once it's verified that she's a liar, okay. I mean, what is her game? What is her game? You can only find out somebody's game is when you have one-to-one with them. Not that I'm particularly keen to have one-to-one with Jeanette Archer, but... And I was using Jeanette Archer as an example because there are a lot of whistleblowers out there who talk about the part of the iceberg that's submerged, the part of the iceberg that's at the bottom. And I think Jeanette Archer is somewhere in the middle. Definitely submerged, but her testimony fits somewhere in the middle. Thanks, Mandy, by the way. On Sean Atwood's show, she then got it. Hang on, fucking hell. There's something happening. Hello? Yeah, go on. You have it. Not making a racket. All right, no prob. No prob. Somebody at my back door. Woo! Fucking sent the shivers out of me, that did. On Sean Atwood's show, then she got in with, John Wedger. And her story changed completely. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the truth doesn't change, does it? Truth doesn't change. And that's why I'd like to hear her story about the Queen of Prince Philip, because I want to hear whether that story changes as well. Because I think I'm quite clued up with her version of the events. I asked David Icke about her. He thinks she's totally mentally ill. Wow, wonderful. Oh, okay. So you got to talk to David Icke. Fascinating. Oh, that's really, really interesting, Mandy. So obviously you've got an interest in this and you've been like doing your own primary research. I'm always been impressed with you, to be fair. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, good on you, mate. Good on you. I like that. I like what you're doing there. You're finding out things for yourself, and that's good. That's the right way to go about things. Yeah, good on you. Good on you. Who was I just listening to? I was just listening to Alex Collier, and I think he's talking about aspects of right at the bottom of the iceberg. Me personally, and it's just my nature, I'm open to anything and everything. Until it's proven to be a lie, then brilliant. At least I know it's a lie. But I've got that kind of nature that I take everything for face value until it's been proven one way or the other. And then, of course, especially with this King's Flag, John Wanoa, I know from a personal experience, none of that was a scam. That no one's been scammed out of any money. John Wanoa was a man with a plan, and he did everything within the word of the law. So he didn't break any laws. No one was scammed out of anything. And so it's frustrating for me to continue to hear simpletons like Den Tarragon call it out as a scam. He did get it right. I mean, there was an argument you could say, it was treasonous. Outside of the sale, of the share sale, what John was talking about wasn't necessarily treasonous. It was justified because crimes are being committed against the people. And so you can't technically, lawfully call something treasonous when you're fighting against criminality. You know, when you've got a criminal entity committing crimes, I think it's a bit simple. Mind you, Den Tarragon is a simpleton, so I don't expect anything more or anything less. To call the fight back against a criminal organisation treasonous. Either way, I think I've wasted too much energy in that individual. I'm going to have to just kind of like sit on my hands and say, if anyone wants to go along with that, fucking crack on, you know. let the simpletons follow the simpletons, quite frankly. You know, it's everyone's got a level of intelligence. Mandy says, personally, I don't think his plan would work, but no one got scammed because it never got off the ground, in my opinion. Hey, listen, if you don't think it worked, guess what you do? You just don't invest in it. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of capitalism. And thank you for the comment, Mandy. I mean, there's a part of me that felt the same way. But I love the long shot. You know, here's a man saying, listen, I need £25 million to start to put tidal generators across, you know, around the island. It's going to cost me £25,000. I've sourced the material, and you know, I'm selling shares to raise that money. You know, and that's what it is. That's essentially what it was. There's no one pointing a gun to anyone and saying you must buy a share. It's purely voluntary, and that's what investors do. Investors look at a plan and go, no, I don't think that works. Or some people go, you know, okay, I can see you've done your homework. It's a sound investment plan. I'll invest money. You know, we see that on Dragon's Den. A lot of dragons invest. A lot of dragons don't. A lot of dragons may look at a plan and go, no, I don't think that'll work. I'm not going to invest. Where the next dragon sitting on the seat beside him will go, I think it's a good plan and I think it will work and I'll invest. You know, that's essentially all it is. But these individuals, and I'm talking about Den Tarragons, they're Danny Jones, they used John Wanoa to make themselves look the hero. Oh, look at us. We're exposing a scam to give themselves credibility, which is just bullshit, quite frankly. It is absolutely fucking bullshit. And to be fair, I've wasted too much energy on trying to kind of like persuade a dumbass audience to think critically about this. I've put it out there now, you know, and it's there. It's there to be found. And that's all I can do in times like this. If people want to follow a simpleton, evidently they're just as simple. So you crack on. You do what you want to do. At some point, you just got to move on. You just got to move on with the next project. Dealing with Den Tarragon has taken far too much of my time up. And yeah, onwards and upwards, quite frankly. And but still, I was a bit shaken and very stirred when I put the radio on today, and what I heard on the news today about, it's just, it ain't right, mate. You know, you'd have thought in the future, we are in the future, by the way. You know, we're in 2025, for goodness sake. 2,000 years after some guy called Jesus apparently rose from the dead, which is fucking stupid anyway. I mean, honestly, talk about simpletons. If you really think someone rose from the dead 2,000 years ago, you know, you're just as fucking thick as Den Tarragon. And I know I'm kind of like insulting billions of people around the world, but come on, stop being fucking idiots. People don't rise from the dead, for goodness sake. Yeah, oh man. Anyway, ultimately this is all my personal opinion. You can believe what you want to believe, and I'm beginning to realise that I can't change your mind, and nor do I want to change your mind. And if you want to believe what you want to believe, crack on and continue to believe it. It ain't, I don't mind. Look, you know, I'm only on this earth for a short time. I'll be moving on soon. And, you know, my job is done. I've passed on my genes. I've got 2 wonderful children. They're intelligent. They're good looking. They're great to be around. That's me done. At least I know when I'm gone, I'll be thought of. I'll be remembered. And, you know, I'm cool with that. I'll be remembered as someone who loved them and who did their utmost to keep them safe and entertained and you know, well fed, well educated. You know, I'm not going to be remembered by the people who love me as a bad person. And that's cool, because ultimately I do think there's some level of judgment. And if that judgment comes from yourself, you know, everyone knows what we've done in life. Everyone has to deal with what we've done, what we've said, the actions we've taken. And be it a judgment from an external source, ultimately it's how you feel about yourself that matters. How you view yourself and what you believe about yourself is the deciding factor. Hey, listen, I've just had a whale of a time. I love life and life loves me. And I'm happy to go at any time now. And I'm saying that because I'm aware that people my age go at this time. I'm thinking of Ross Broadstock. I'm thinking of Shane Warne. I'm thinking of Peter Sellers. I'm thinking of my mother. I'm thinking of my uncle. You know, a lot of people die in their mid 50s. Mandy says it's strange with the Jesus story. The people in power killed him and then told us to worship him. Well, you know, it all happened after the event, didn't it? For me personally, through the historical research of Adam Wilson and Baron Blackett, Jesus survived the crucifixion and came to South Wales, where if you know where to look, you could actually go to where he's buried. I mean, it's all covered up. It's got a lovely pattern of a cross over it. What changed, Matt? Well, you know, history changes everything. A new guard comes along. I mean, Christianity is built on paganism. And it was the Romans who, it's just all rehashed. Nothing ever changes. Everything gets rehashed, rebooted. I mean, the saints were once the gods. Yeah. Nothing changes. Everything gets rehashed and rebooted. But listen, I don't pretend to be the know-it-all. I'm just as informed about the world around us as you are. We take it all in, and each individual chooses to take on board what comes in. And it's also what resonates with you, isn't it? What resonates with you. And the historical research of Alan Wilson and Baron Blackett just resonates with me. King Arthur being a real historical figure, and Jesus surviving the crucifixion. So weird, they drink his blood and eat his flesh. It's horrible, isn't it? And we're talking about what's underneath the surface now of the iceberg. Because my sister got in big trouble, and I mean big. Mum got called in when Emma refused to take the communion because she asked the priest what part of Jesus's body is she eating. Yeah, I know. Why on earth are we drinking the blood and eating the body? And of course, the official one is that we're recreating the Last Supper. But I tell you, there was Jesus didn't do any bloodletting at the Last Supper. Jesus didn't slice off a pound of his flesh and fry it up for anyone. So, to claim that it's representing the Last Supper is just fucking bullshit. But yeah, and there's so much of Christianity that is the complete inversion of what we're told in the Gospels. But yeah, and well done for being critically thinking. I'm actually, as we talk, I'm reappraising you, man. It really impressed me that you contacted David Icke yourself and asked him about Jeanette Archer. That's good. That's good research, that is. And I know it's simple. I mean, good research can be simple. For example, contacting David Icke and getting it from the horse's mouth what he thinks of Jeanette Archer. I mean, I personally, until evidence comes which is contrary, I too believe that Jeanette Archer may be mentally ill. I don't want her to be, because I love the story of the reptilians. I personally feel as if she's acting out the story she's heard elsewhere. But that's just me. Oh, right. I saw him one day walking and had a chat. Well, look at you. So it was a very opportunist thing. Well done. I saw him one day walking and had a chat. Well done. And I like what you're talking about, the, drinking the blood and eating the flesh, because we have to question it. All too often, people just take it for gospel. They take what is said as truth. And, that's where the Chinese whisper gets started, isn't it? No, not so much the Chinese whisper. That was a wrong analogy. But that's where we end up walking down, a dead end by taking on board or a belief that somebody else had. All right, so you saw him walking and had a chat. No, lovely. Very nice. So it wasn't something you actively sought out. I got the impression you may have emailed him or something, but you actually spoke to him in person. Fantastic. Yeah, I've never seen David Icke. I've never met him. He done a few London shows, didn't he? Sell-out London shows, I hasten to add. But I am subscribed to his son, Gareth. Quite like him. I've got my next door neighbour. She's singing at the moment. I can hear it through the walls. Well, she's got a good voice, honestly. But yeah, I had a good day today. I can't tell you what happened. All top secret. Over to Mandy, and thanks ever so much, Mandy, for joining me tonight. I laugh out loud. Well, Chris spotted him and we stalked him. Brilliant. Why not? Whereabouts was this? Whereabouts in the air? What area did you stalk him? Yeah, fascinating. I mean, what would I like to ask David Icke if I ever met him? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'd ask him. I would like to meet Eric Clapton, though. That's one bloke I'd love to meet. Ask him about his early career, what it was like in the swinging 60s. Never mind where you met him. Nutter on here, don't be silly. We're all nutters. We all play along with this fucking corrupt system. We all go along with it. Oh, fucking hell. You know, there's part of me that... Oh, well, okay. I was going to say the part of me that's looking forward to, you know, passing over, but I'm still enjoying life. And then it just made me think, I've lost the will to fight. I have. You know, that the fire to fight the system has totally gone out, totally expired. Yes, some people take it too far. I've lost the fire to fight the system, and I know that's terrible. That's wrong. You know, I'm kind of like, yeah, you know, I'll bend over. I just pray you use a bit of lubricant when you fuck me over, thanks. But I've passed on the fight to my kids. Ultimately, I am just as lost as anyone else out there. I'm just your average bloke following the herd, going where I'm told. Well, thankfully we're coming up. Look, Mandy, if it wasn't for you, I'd have had nothing else, nobody else to talk to tonight. So I can't thank you enough. I got a message from Lenny yesterday. He said, "Oh, Matt, I fell asleep." I fell asleep, Matt. Even though he was gracious enough to say he had a hard day and he was tired, I think he was just being polite rather than saying, "You're boring as fuck, Matt, and you sent me to sleep." I don't mind. I don't mind. Yes, thank you ever so much. You're very kind. And you always have been kind, generous, and gracious as well, you know. We go back a bit, me and Mandy, at least 3 years. Maybe another year on top of that. But I've been very fortunate enough to have Mandy as a regular viewer. I like to think so, but thanks ever so much, Mandy. Yeah, so you know, do it all again. We can like what happens to me is I go up to bed and I lay down, and then I can like just go to another realm. I die for a couple of hours, you know, 6-7 hours. It's really strange. I had a strange dream last night as well. Whew. Totally strange. My mum was in it and my dead cousin. That was quite weird. But yeah, sleep's a strange thing, isn't it? I don't know what the fuck that's all about. I'm not particularly keen on sleeping, you know, because you can't move. You don't know what's going on around you. It's a weird one. But I'd much rather be up and about, being active. Usually, just as I fall off to sleep, I usually think, God, I wish I was doing something more interesting now than just laying in. And I just go, and then I just kind of like die, basically. I just die for about 7 hours, 6 or 7 hours. But yet, while I'm dead, I'm alive in a different dimension. Totally a fucking massive headfuck it is. So like my physical is completely still, but yet my mental is fucking having a party. I'm meeting dead cousins, my mother. It was this whole party on last night, and all my family members were there. Oh, weird it was, totally weird. But that's life, isn't it? I think a part of life which scares the living daylight out of me is the unknown. The unknown is a part of life. It's like, why do I go comatose that night what is sleep? What are dreams? Why are people doing terrible things to other people? Why is there sin? Why is there abuse? Why is there evil? Why do people lie? What's beyond the boundary of our sight? What's underneath the iceberg? But then ultimately, what sends me to sleep is, to be fair, Matt, I don't give a flying fuck. I'm just enjoying the here and now, Yeah, what about, funny enough, I've experienced it myself. What to think about the people who say they can leave their body in astral travel? I did that when I was in the glass house. I had this massive experience, and I'll quickly tell you about it. The last 8 minutes. It's in my book, Taylor Tales. I had this amazing experience when I was in the prison cell in the glass house, and usually, one of the guards comes along, opens up the little hatch, looks in, and like for most of the time, I'm going, yeah, okay, yeah, good night, staff, and they go, yeah, good night, Taylor. Fucking. Well, this one night, I was just pissed. I was just pissed off. Whatever. So he opens up the fucking shutter, and I just thought, no, fuck it. I'm not even going to say goodnight. I'm just going to lay here. And then the guy opens the door, right? I think, what the fuck? So I didn't move. I thought, fuck this. I'm not moving for you. So I just laid still. He opens the door, takes a step in, checks me, and then goes off again, closes the door. And I thought, fuck this. Am I going to turn around and say anything to you? Because I'm just fed up of it. And then all of a sudden, I felt my body just plunge. My soul just plunged. And then I regained my senses, and I was out of my body. And I walked through the prison cell door into the corridor. I walked along the corridor, and then I walked through the wall out into the open. What would you do then? I went flying, and I zoomed up, and I visited this city in the sky. Hello, Lenny. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. And then when I told everyone the next day what happened, and I told the staff, I said, who was that bastard who came into my room last night? And they said, oh, and they went off to check the book. And I said, what time? And I said, it was about this time. They go, no one was there. So basically, cut a long story short, yeah, I've had an astral projection, and I've done it twice in prison. I've done it twice. and there's a city in the sky, and it looks like purgatory or some sort. It's amazing. Yeah, it could have just been dreaming, but it was unlike any dream I've ever had before. Yeah. Yeah. What's Matt on about? Having it off with a ghost? No, astral plane. Andy asked the question, what do you think about people who say they can leave their body and astral travel? I was just saying, when I was in the glass house, I had an astral traveling experience twice. Dreaming of a white Christmas. Do you reckon so? Well, I tell you, apparently on Friday we got shitloads of rain coming, and then we got a cold front. And so remember I've been telling you about the water feature down Wild Park. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to look for. I may go out there with the umbrella and see, because it's going to be pissing down right proper on Friday. So I want to see how much is going to be flooded. It's going to be flooded right along the base of Wild Park. And then maybe Saturday or Sunday, it's going to be freezed over. It's going to be great. Oh, hello, everyone. Yeah, hi. We've got double figures, everyone. I'd just like to say you're watching Matt Taylor TV. Welcome, everyone. Regrettably, I'm wrapping it up in a few minutes. Carrie Fisher did it in Star Wars, didn't she? Fly into outer space. I know. Yeah, but I feel personally it was a real astral experience. That's how I do it. I mean, yeah. I mean, I know what dreaming's like, and I know what vivid dreams are like. But for me, astral travel, it's... And I've done this, I think I had similar experiences in the house I had growing up, where I felt as if someone was in the room and I was paralyzed. And I think that's got something to do with it. That there's a guide comes in. Well, that's my experience anyway. Well, one of my totally weird experiences, supernatural experiences, involves someone coming into my bedroom, be it a police cell or my bedroom, and me going paralyzed. I mean, on that one in the police cell, I wasn't paralyzed, but I didn't give a shit. But I remember in my bedroom when I was a teenager, when I was paralyzed with fear because someone was in my bedroom standing over my bed. And then I had you could say an astral travel experience then, actually. So I've actually had a couple of astral travel experiences as a teenager and then as a young man. And all my astral traveling experiences involve a guide of some sort, someone who visited me and then maybe did something. Yes, they say sleep paralysis. Anyway. Oh, look who it is. Having a cigarette, licking his lips. Look who it is. Over to Lenny. 25 years ago, it was 2005. And can anyone remember that? I mean, 2006, my daughter was born. Can you believe it, eh? Matt, what about all the millions of pounds Brian Harvey has from his time as the leader of E17? Apparently he's worth millions. Well, listen, we come up to last minute, so we can't really I haven't got time to discuss anymore. But me personally, I think Brian Harvey has had so many opportunities, hasn't he? He's been on some of the best shows. And I'm surprised he hasn't kept all that money, really. I don't know what he's done with all that money. But yeah. Well, I'd love to have Brian on and say, mate, where's all your millions gone? But hey, listen, it's unlikely it's going to happen. Oh, sudden headache come over me. So it's 9 o'clock, peeps. 9 o'clock. I like to keep it going. He was having the other bandmates. He was giving the other bandmates financial advice because he was minted. But listen, I mean, for me personally, the way to make it in life is royalties, isn't it? And of course, the only person. Okay, I mean, but I've got to be somewhere for 10 anyway. The only person who's really raking it in is Tony Mortimer because of the royalties, isn't it? That's the residue. That's the passive income that we all want. I was talking to my son today. He goes, "Yeah, Granddad, I want the life of Granddad." I go, "Well, yeah, what's that?" He goes, "Well, I'm doing fuck all, hang around the house, do fuck all." You make me laugh. I go, "You're not serious, huh?" He goes, "Yeah, no, that's what I want in life, mate. So I just fucking hang around, do fuck all. That's the life for me." I say, "Oh, fucking luck. You got to go to school tomorrow." I'm serious. He had a Ferrari and house in Essex. Facts. Okay, yeah. There you go. So what has he done with all his money, mate? He's spunked it up somewhere, hasn't he? I mean, I don't know. You say he's gone through millions. I don't know. But he's had lots of opportunity, that's for sure. And he's had some big paydays. He's obviously done something to land him in the position he's in at the moment. But that's something you're going to have to have a word with Brian Harvey with, isn't it? I know I'm familiar that he had a Ferrari. But ultimately, it's mental health issues, isn't it, Lenny? And it's a bit of a touchy subject because everyone's mental health issue is unique to themselves. And, it's not a nice thing to do is discuss other people's mental health. But as we all know, it's well documented in the public domain that Brian Harvey has had mental health issues. And, I don't particularly feel comfortable talking about Brian Harvey. Mind you, he feels comfortable about talking about me. He says I take the abuse a bit too well for me to be real. Load of rubbish, really. Apparently, he makes millions every time the Christmas number one is on the radio. Stay Another Day. But I mean, look, we're talking about Tony Mortimer, aren't we? And I'm sure he doesn't make millions. Okay, someone makes millions out there, but I don't think it's. I mean, yeah, they do get some residue royalties, don't they? And I do think Brian Harvey has covered this. I think he's shown his royalty check. I mean, it's certainly not millions. But yeah, you're making me a bit unnervous, You're making me feel a bit nervous by talking about Brian Harvey. Only because he's not here, Lenny. Don't particularly feel comfortable. Matt smoking loads of reefer would fuck anyone's brain. Yes, that's quite right. Yeah. Don't think he'll be living like he does if that's true. Lenny, yeah. I mean, if he was a... But yeah, I agree. He's had money. Obviously, he hasn't got it anymore. Matt, he says you take the trolling too easy. I know, and that's something that discredits Brian Harvey for me. I think it's like, mate, and that's the problem I think I've got with Brian Harvey. Here we go.
Taylor, I think he's in this as well. As a matter of fact, I'm fucking sure he is, because he come out 2013, 2014, putting videos up that he made in iMovie, Matt Taylor for Prime Minister, and I thought, who's this geezer? And then all the other trolls, even back then, appeared to be putting the boot into him, like what they are today, you know, and he takes it a bit too well for it to be real.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Brian, mate. If you know, if that's what you think, Brian, it's like I can't take you seriously. Whatever. He'd stopped last time. I looked up. BH was a while ago, though. But yeah, I mean, if I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm not in a conspiracy. I'm certainly not in with my trolls. I don't particularly think I've handled the abuse I've got particularly well, you know. But mind you, I am a tough bastard. I'm like an alpha male. Matt, you surfaced in 2012 running for PM. But that goes to show how he must have been aware of me back then. But that was what Lenny, I had a very successful YouTube channel with 1,000+ subscribers then, actually. Yeah, it was my first YouTube channel. youtube.com/@Taylor MOTM, man of the match. And that was a very successful YouTube channel. Like I said, when it got taken off me, I started covering the New Zealand shooting, mosque shooting. That's when it got kind of like pulled from under me. Yeah, I was doing well on YouTube. Was he on Super Strong Skunk when he said that? I mean, but I personally can't take anyone seriously only because it involves me. You know, yeah, I handle my trolls. My trolls can't handle the abuse I throw back. That's the issue I've got with my trolls. You know, that they can't handle the abuse. They're good at throwing it at me, but they can't handle when I throw it back at them. Matt, last I checked, David Cameron was PM at that time. Did he challenge him? No. I was having fun with iMovie. I brought myself a new iPad at that point. I didn't run for PM, no. I just had an iPad, Lenny. I had an iPad. And remember, it was always an ambition to stand in the general election. And I did that in 2015. But my election got sabotaged. That's a whole story in itself. But actually, in 2012, I was standing in the Police Crime Commissioner elections. And it was brilliant because I got to do all the hustings. And I loved it. I loved that because it allowed me to dress up in a suit, go to these important places, sit on the top table and play politician. You know, everyone had 10 minutes to convince the audience why the audience should vote for them. I loved it. Oh, isn't that funny? I mean, I don't know how anyone can justify that. I mean, it's just so crazy. It's brilliant, actually. I mean, it's got to go down, quite frankly, as YouTube gold. That Den Tarragon and Jenny's eggs. I mean, this has got to go down, surely, as YouTube gold. Whoops, let's get rid of Brian.
Accuse you of nicking Jenny's fucking eggs or whatever, And until you can prove you didn't nick Jenny's eggs, then, you know, that's it. You did it.
It's just, it's perfection, isn't it? It's just so good. I love it. I do.
I can accuse you of nicking Jenny's fucking eggs or what.
So Den can accuse anyone what he wants to accuse them of. For example, on this time, nicking Jenny's eggs.
Whatever. And until you can prove you didn't nick Jenny's eggs, then, you know, that's it. You did it.
Oh, so Den can accuse anyone what he wants to accuse them of, and until they can prove they didn't do what Den accused them of doing, as far as Den is concerned, you did it. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. I say you did, so you prove you didn't. It's just, oh man, it's so good. It really is the best ever fucking thing in the whole wide world.
Accuse you of nicking Jenny's fucking eggs or whatever. And until you can prove you didn't nick Jenny's eggs, then, you know, that's it. You did it.
Lenny, this was an extract from the conversation Den Tarragon and I had 25th of August this year. I mean, basically, it's all about the King's flag. You know, it's an illustration of how a simpleton thinks. Okay, it is a classic, isn't it? The burden of proof is on you, Matt. Get out of that, Matt. Yeah, I know, it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is a classic. It is a classic.
Accuse you of nicking Jenny's fucking eggs or whatever. And until you can prove you didn't nick Jenny's eggs, then, you know, that's it. You did it.
Oh, man. That's got to go down as, like Mandy says, classic. That's a YouTube classic, that is. Oh, and here's another one. While we got Fanny Bones in the house. You're familiar with James Hind, aren't you? Yeah. It's brilliant, actually. Oh, let me just find it first. You know what it's like. You know what it's like. You know what it's like. Here we go. This is another good one. Jenny's eggs. Who is Jenny? One of Matt's sideburns. Now, it was just an example that the simpleton used. But have a butchers of this. This is a funny one.
Kind, phone me tomorrow. I would help him in every single way possible. I've seen no evidence of what you're saying, Matt, is what I'm asking you. If you can show me, share screen now and show me, and I might change my mind. I might say to you, you know what, Matt? I do not support James anymore.
I love it how these charlatans, they're not going to waste their own time looking for the evidence, isn't it? They want evidence brought to them on a silver platter. And, you know, ultimately, this James Hind character is a Satanist who, under his own confession, pretends to be a 12-year-old boy online, talks to children as young as 11 years old, and who allowed a paedophile groomer to carry on grooming because he didn't like the thought of ruining a paedophile's life on his mind. And I mean, what more do you want to fucking know? And then we got this fucking weird. I've got to really actually police my language here, but we've got Danny Jones saying this.
Hind, phone me tomorrow. I would help him in every single way possible. I've seen no evidence of what you're saying, Matt, is what I'm asking you. If you can show me, share screen now and show me, and I might change my mind. I might say to you, you know what, Matt? I do not support James anymore.
Ultimately, it is bad. And only because these individuals are going around pertaining to be the great and the good of YouTube. So we got Danny Jones on record saying he will do whatever a Satanist asks of him. Danny Jones will do whatever a Satanist asks of him. An individual who pretends to be a child online and who talks to children online. And who allowed a paedophile groomer to carry on grooming because he didn't like the thought of ruining a paedophile's life. Okay, Danny, crack on. Crack on. I'm not about to try and persuade anyone to do fuck all anymore. You crack on. None of them will answer. It's all about that just won't talk about it. Of course they won't. Lenny brings us back onto E17. Matt, you should do a financial deep dive on who got E17's billions. Oh, shut up, Lenny. As if I'll fucking waste my time on that. Well, I think you should do a deep dive, mate. I think you should do a deep dive. And then, of course, the other one is AJ Lashbrook. How he describes how his dog jumped up and hit his clutched fist. I never hit my dog. No. The dog jumped up and hit my clutched fist. Thank you very much. It's like saying I don't beat my wife. My wife just repeatedly hits her head against my clutched fist. How do I beat her? Yet we'll get obsessed making videos about nonsense. I know. That's the crazy YouTube we all live in. Day in, day out. I know. I mean, for me personally, I just have to rise above it, and I'm useless at rising above it. But actually, it's easier now because I have got a day job, so to speak. I have got stuff to get on with, but I still find myself being dragged back in, and that's not good, I get dragged in by comments. When people leave a comment, I just get kind of like rolled up, and I have to do a song about it. And while AI makes it easier, it's still taking half an hour of my time. And my time is valuable. Half an hour of my day is half an hour that could be spent on something more interesting instead, like King Arthur. That's my passion. And, so while we get people like Lady J, I mean, who the fuck is Lady J? No one knows who the fuck Lady J is. Coming on defending Den Tarragon, it's just, it triggers me. And I'm human, just like the rest of us. I'm Matt. All of Brian Harvey's millions are offshore, Matt. Panama Papers, son. Lenny, stop it, mate. You're trolling poor Brian Harvey now. Stop it. Stop it, you nutter. Stop it, you nutter. Don't. Brian Harvey will hear about this, and he won't be particularly happy about you, Lenny. He won't be happy about you. And then, of course, the question will start going around. Who's Lenny? What's Lenny got to do with it? Why is Lenny asking so many questions about Brian Harvey? Why is Lenny encouraging Matt to do a financial deep dive? Eh? What horse has Lenny got in the race? You know what I mean, Lenny? He who asks too many questions will soon get called a nosy Parker. If that's true, Lenny, why do you think he lives like he lives? I know, Lenny's only having a laugh. It's all a bit of banter, mate. Maybe Matt the tax man can investigate anyone. Oh. Now, Lenny, don't start ringing up the tax man and getting Brian Harvey in trouble, right? Brian Harvey's done nothing to you, okay? He's a good bloke. I wasn't particularly a fan of E17, you know, but come on now. Let's do it for Nikki at least. Let's not upset Nikki. Oh God, Lenny, you made me go over my hour, mate. I'm going to wrap it up at past, okay? 10 more minutes. YouTube is fake. YouTube actors, yes. Yeah. I mean, basically, I've got Brian Harvey calling me a fake. Brian Harvey calling me out as a faker. And actually, that's quite cool, really, isn't it? I've got somebody famous from a very legendary boy band calling me a faker. Quite cool, really. I don't mind. Yeah. But it discredits what he thinks about me. It discredits everything else he says. You know, if he's got it wrong on me, it's only logical to think he's got it wrong about Liam Payne. He's got it wrong about the photograph with Virginia, whatever her surname is. Matt, was there even a British election in 2013 when Matt ran for PM? Listen, I was just making silly iPad movies. Don't worry about it. Oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it, Lenny. Now, let's not start fucking grassing Brian Harvey up to the Inland Revenue. Come on. You don't want to push anyone over the edge, okay? You'll start making videos about you, Lenny. You'll start asking, why is Lenny looking in? Why does Lenny want the taxman to look into my affairs? Look, he may well have a nice retirement nest egg. He may well be sailing off to the Bahamas with Nikki in a couple of years. And I say, goodbye, Brian. You've done some great songs. But yeah, I mean, he's had opportunity. I'd love to have had half the opportunity Brian Harvey's had. But yeah, he's obviously mismanaged his finances to end up living in Walthamstow. But hey, you know, he's happy. He's happy, Lenny. Who are we to criticise Brian Harvey? You know, until you until you like walk a mile in another man's shoes and all that jazz. Matt, John Wedger and Sean Atwood never heard of E17. Both these men must have been in a coma in the 90s. Exactly. I mean, that's a bit of a fib there, isn't it? Because everyone's heard of E17, for goodness sake. So where do you think BH lives in real life, Lenny? Oh, good question. Yeah. I think we're going down a rabbit hole here, boys and girls. I think we're progressively going down a rabbit hole. Hey, listen, I'm wrapping it up in 7 minutes' time, okay? Just saying. Yeah, Matt. You're threatening to set the social media torch mob on me. Bad form. Oh, fucking yeah, I am, mate. And don't blame the messenger, mate. I'm going to get in trouble because it's going to say Matt has allowed Lenny, the platform, to attack Brian Harvey. You know, so I'm going to get in the shit for it, mate. To be fair, he lives on YouTube, live streams for hours, right? He does, yes. But he's obviously making money, you know. Wedger afraid he won't look hard if he claims to own an E17 cassette tape. Good one. And I tell you, he's got to be hard to go swimming in the to go swimming, hasn't he? Oh man, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I saw today. Right, I was down Seaford Beach, and it was okay. I'll tell you, I was doing a bit of surf fishing today, and I was down Seaford Beach, and the surf was just fucking crazy. Like it was epic. It was kind of like biblical, right? And I saw the Seaford Coven, a bunch of witches. There were about, let me get in my head, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 8 women in their swimsuits howling at the waves. They were like all woo, waving their arms up in the air, howling. I kid you not. I saw 8 women in their bath suits, edge of this fucking biblical surf, waves like you've never seen before, howling at the waves. And then they all sat down in the surf. It was fucking amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Do you think it's just a set? I like it. You're weakening my argument. It's all a bit of banter. It's all a bit of banter, Brian. Don't worry about it. Making money, he practically owns Walthamstow. He has Stella Creasy in his sky rocket. Oh, Lenny, you're on form tonight, Lenny. Oh, you're so funny, Lenny. Lenny, honestly. Lenny has gone live, by the way. I think you should keep doing it, mate. Keep going live. Because I tell you, you're funny as fuck, mate. Funny as fuck. Oh, my tooth's getting a bit sensitive. I've got to go to the dentist. Right, so weekend soon. Thursday tomorrow. Then apparently Friday. Well, I don't know part of the UK you're living in, but apparently Friday is going to be fucking wet. It's going to be pissing down with rain. And then after Friday, we're getting the cold spell, the chill, the frost. Yes. I know. 8 women howling at waves, Matt. Was that a satanic ritual thing? Well, it certainly felt as if it was something like that. That's why I described them as members of the coven, or coven, however you pronounce it. Coven, Coven, Coven. Did you talk, Lenny? I missed it. I'm just glad Lenny's managed to stay up. Thanks, Lenny. I know it was kind of you to say that you had a tough day and it was busy for you. But listen, you know, we all know that watching Matt Taylor TV was so fucking boring it sent you to sleep. Somebody save me. No, but for real, peeps, I'm wrapping it up. I'm wrapping it up in 2 minutes. Okay. Oh, right. Yes. When you went live. Yes. Lenny's gone live. He was walking somewhere. I think Lenny should go live more. Matt wants me to rival his show. Damn right I do, mate. Damn right I do. Mate, honestly, you are raw talent, mate. You are raw talent. And I think there's a space for you on YouTube, Lenny. There's a space for you. So do it, mate. Listen, everyone. Let's wrap it up, okay? Let's wrap it up. I've got something happening at 10 o'clock. Can't say too much. Christmas soon. Christmas only around the corner, bloods. Christmas around the corner.
There's no greater joy in life than being a parent to a mate.
No, I won't play that. Oh, tired today. It's been a busy day. Busy day. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. It was lovely. So what shall I play you? What shall I play you? What shall I play you? Don't know what to play you. I don't know what to play you. Oh, let's do 3 Out of Bad. Ain't Bad. That was quite good. There we go. We'll play that. Yeah, this song, which I'm going to play out at the end of the show, it's I didn't really have much expectations from life. Okay, I think all I wanted to do was to love beautiful women, to write a book, and to go to space. You know, and I managed 2 out of 3. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. You know. Yes, you would be great. So make sure you go live. Robbie Williams believes in UFOs. He should do an AI track with Brian. Yes. Thanks, Mandy Marlins. I only put up posts, but nobody really reads them. Of course we do. Listen, everyone. Thanks ever so much for Mandy. Thanks for you, Lenny. We had Hoax Police pop in. Thank you, Danny, for popping in. Next time, say something worthwhile, okay? You fucking weirdo. I'm playing out with my version of 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I just want you to know, I had no expectations in life. All I really wanted was to make love to beautiful women, to maybe write a book or 2, and go into space. I've achieved 2 out of 3. That ain't bad. I thought Matt's 3 wishes would be onto E17 and run for PM. Until the next time, everyone, remember, King Arthur is a real historical figure, no matter what Taffy says. Thanks, Mandy. Thanks, Lenny. Have a good night, and let's all hope Lenny goes live soon. Until the next time, thank you for entertainment. Always a pleasure, Mandy. Always a pleasure. And I can't thank you enough for spending your time with me. Thank you, Lenny. This is my version of 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
To be fair, I never had a plan, no dream job, no master plan. Didn't care for fame or fancy things, just wanted to see what life would bring. All I wanted was a love that's true, a pen, some words, a dream or 2, and maybe one day touch the stars, ride a rocket past the moon and Mars. 2 out of 3 my friend. Got the love, got the stories, got a life I live again. Still reaching for the stars, though they're so far ahead. But hey, at 54, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I've kissed the sun on Brighton shore, felt heartbreak, but came back for more. Wrote down my truth in midnight lines, each word a spark from another time. But I never needed much applause, just laughter, passion, a righteous cause. If space won't take me, that's okay. My heart's already light years away. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, my friend. Got the love, got the stories, got a life I live again. Still reaching for But hey, at 54, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Maybe one day I'll drift away past the clouds where comets play, with a notebook full of dreams in hand. I'll find my home among the sand of time. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, my friend. Got the love, got the words, till the very end. Still chasing that last dream I never quite had, but I smile and say, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Yeah, at 54, with love and lore, 2 out of 3.